I think one of my favorite, I guess, interactions as a band, like James and Chad, like were talking, and Chad looked at James and he said, "I really like your guys' music," and James said, "Like you don't have to say that, like thank you, but you don't have to." And Chad was just like, "Yeah, I know. I don't have to say anything." But I actually,
it's kind of like, you don't have to do the the fronting thing. He's like, "Oh, I know. I don't have to do anything I don't want to do."
James Barker Band is the ultimate story of chasing your dreams with your closest friends. From humble beginnings, playing bars, to dominating the charts with multiple #1 hits, these guys have truly made their mark. Their smash hit, New Old Trucks, featuring Dierks Bentley, earned them their 4th gold-certified #1 in Canada, and honestly, they're just getting started.
A compromise of 4 lifelong friends, James, Taylor, Connor, and Bobby. The band is more than just a musical powerhouse. They built a life together, not just as bandmates, but as family. With every song and every performance, James Barker Band, JBB, continues to prove that passion, friendship, and hard work can lead to something extraordinary. Welcome, guys.
Wow, what an intro.
There you go, yeah.
Thank you.
that's us.
Thanks for joining us, guys.
Yeah, we had
That's us?
That's you guys.
You got the wrong guy.
No, but we've had so much fun going through your social media pages, and really, that's what it's all about. You guys really do a lot together. I feel like you guys have grown as a family.
Yeah, absolutely. I do feel like that's one of the things you get with the band is like you get the good and the bad, you get it all. You know what I mean? It's like you're in it together. You see all of it.
Yeah.
Well, it's funny because, we've interviewed in the past. We've talked a lot, actually, over the years. And one of the questions you guys constantly get is like, well, how do you guys make it work? Like, how do you guys make it work so long?
You make it work.
You make it work. Yeah, you have to, right?
I gotta tell you, on Wikipedia it says that you guys were created in 1984.
Yeah.
Someone recently has been messing
Like, were you guys, born even?
Someone's trolling hard on our Wikipedia page, which points for creativity.
We were looking at it yesterday. She turns to me, she goes, wait a minute. She goes, how they form in 1984?
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, someone's trolling. Like, it's
Yeah.
good.
Hard. We don't know when that just changed recently.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think it's kind of funny. We'll leave it up there.
I love that.
I love it.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, we're on like some sort of a program makes us look young. So
we always start with the first post we've ever done on social media. Do you guys remember when you guys joined?
Yeah, I think I could tell you what the post
Do you remember
was.
your first post?
I think
I
so
don't remember
too.
the date, but I want to say it. Is it a post about like follow our? It's like follow our socials.
For lawn chair.
It's lawn chair lazy. It's definitely lawn chair lazy.
Did we do like a grid post of
It was a
lawn chair or
grid
whatever?
post of like
Well, instead of going to that one, I want to go to your personal post.
Oh,
That's
wow.
yours.
Okay,
Yes.
personal post. Or another thing. That's a great shot.
I have Instagram.
Do you remember your first post?
I do.
You do?
Like I do remember my. Is it a tractor?
It's a tractor. Yeah. Very
There you
good.
go.
James is a farmer.
I didn't know we were going personal.
I know. We're going all in.
Connor's sweating
Oh,
hard.
that's a good one.
Checks out.
Oh, wow,
That's
that
a
does
good one.
check
Tracks.
out. Oh, red dirt
That's
Connor.
And finally.
Oh,
That
wow,
tracks too.
that tracks.
Yeah.
Dang, still got that best.
Still.
What's going on over here? Like, let's just start with that.
I don't know, but like I always
Lead
look
strong.
back. I always look back and be like why was I single all in high school? Then now it's like, oh, yeah.
Also, who got the most likes on the first post?
But you were right. The first one was this photo.
It was
Oh,
kind of
yeah,
okay.
yeah.
That was
Okay, it's all janked right now. We got to fix it.
Yeah, who did get the most likes?
Yeah, because I saw like a 17
Yeah,
and
who
a
got the-
6 or something.
So James Barker, man, 10 likes.
10 likes.
Wow, strong.
Well done.
Strong 10.
Remember that,
Admirable.
remember
I think
that,
I got-
everybody?
2013.
Yeah.
2013. That's like 1,000 likes like today.
Yeah, that is like 1,000.
With the conversion
Bobby-
rate.
Bobby Big Wheels, 17.
Whoa.
Oh,
Big
wow.
numbers.
Love that.
My man.
Oh.
I feel like
Connor Box
Con.
even. 62 likes.
Whoa.
Wow.
Well
Yeah.
done.
Elegant.
Influencer.
I think I'm like 6 or something.
Taylor, 11.
Double digits.
I'm
better than
Pretty
James.
good.
Wow.
Wow. 62.
likes.
Wow.
Were you
Well played.
already boosting posts?
He was buying likes.
Great.
It was all bots. All bots.
First post,
Check
all
the
bots.
comments.
But what is going on in this photo? What is this moment?
I'm in Oklahoma. I think I was in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and I met these new dudes in college like 3 days before that. They said, you want to come? And
And
I
that
just
was
found
it.
myself in the middle of Tulsa,
Could have been his
Oklahoma.
last photo.
It could have been, yeah.
That's awesome.
But you guys obviously have known each other for so long, been working together for so long. Like, all of your posts are around the same time, basically when everyone was getting Instagram.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What were you all like 2012, 2013?
Awful.
Oh man, those are some times.
Yeah.
Because we would all just been out of high school, like pretty fresh then. I feel like for me, I was like, I tried to do the victory lap thing and dropped out because like if anyone else tried to go to high school the year after you graduate and all your friends aren't there, you're like, this isn't fun at all. So dropped out, and then I got arrested, and so my dad was like, you got to get a job. And so I was working on like a sheep farm, like.
Is that the tractor?
Chasing sheep. That was another farmer I started working for after the sheep farm. I guess the same. I was working for a couple farmers and just doing that thing and just not having a girlfriend and farming and drinking beers at night and farming in the day. That was pretty much it.
You like Coors Light, right? Like I saw a lot of those photos in the beginning.
Did you actually?
Yeah, there's like 5 of them. I'm like, there's some kind of relationship there.
Sponsored? No, not very much non-sponsored.
I heard
All
you can
paid
make
for.
money on this thing.
Yeah, exactly.
So there was a lot of trouble at that time. Like you were kind of
go on,
yourself
go
out.
on,
Yeah.
James.
I feel like all of us kind of, you know, that like first couple of years out of high school when you're, you know, still think you're like invincible, but you're less invincible because you're over 18.
Well, especially when you're like visiting friends at universities, because you go visit there.
Yeah.
So you never went there, so you didn't really have any like you were going to lose your scholarship, so you would go there and just anything went, and then you just go home back to like I was in Ajax, so you go to Guelph and come back to Ajax. So it's like you kind of had like freedom to do whatever you wanted.
Yeah, exactly.
And we got into trouble.
No
a lot.
consequences.
Yeah, no consequences.
No consequences, or you don't realize that there are consequences. Yeah, so that was definitely that era.
So how did you guys come together then? How did that all?
Well, I mean, Connor and I already knew each other
Ish,
like decently well at that point because we met in high school and we played like before Connor went to college. We played like in a band, like a rock, like kind of an alt rock band.
Yeah.
Cool band.
Cool band.
Yeah, cool band.
And Odyssey Project, which was like a big stage band with like a horn section.
a big band.
Yeah.
Yeah, like in high school and stuff. And so we like had played together and like obviously like hung out because of that and, you know, had good times or whatever. And Taylor, who was running like a recording studio, met us because we had like won a battle of the bands. So we had we knew Taylor then, but weren't in the band or anything yet. And then it wasn't until a few years later, once Connor was done college and came back, that we met Bob because we were playing like bars just with different bands and stuff. Like Connor and I were filling in and filled in for this band. This guy that's still a buddy of ours, Chris Barkley, and we were like playing in this band and stuff and met Bobby, and we all just kind of hit it off, you know, the four of us. But it was just us playing for Chris. And then Chris and I, you know, we're still good buddies, but it was like I wanted to do the solo thing, or like I want to be the singer, not the solo thing. But we were like playing as his band for like essentially a year.
Lead guitar.
Lead guitar.
You were playing guitar, yeah.
And I just was like, I want to kind of sing, and he was like, I want to too. And so we're like, let's kind of go our separate ways, and you know, we kind of split it off. So,
but it was weird. It was weird early on because like I grew up in Ajax, so like it's not necessarily the most country city. And like I just remember like when we first met like these guys, my first interaction with like you saw like your Instagram post, my first interaction with like them, like I guess rednecks, I guess you would say.
Oh yeah.
I don't know what it was, but
we were
like,
pretty wild back then.
Like early on, like we were like inseparable. Like we would every weekend, like I would find myself out in like Lindsay and doing like, do you know what I mean? We'd be doing a bunch of things all together.
How wild did you guys get? Like, I'm like, this seems there's like a lot of stories going on. We won't judge. What's the line again?
Anyways,
I had a habit of winding up with concussions very frequently.
Connor had a lot.
You collected them,
which makes you a very sporadic person when you get them, you know, every month.
Yeah, there's a lot of like brawls. Connor would get in brawls quite
too much,
quite regularly. I don't
did
even
you start them, or did you just kind
a bit of both?
Yeah, both. Okay.
I have a tendency to draw attention to myself.
Oh, that's so.
And just like, you know how you go to a bar, especially like when you're like, or in a bar where there's a lot of like young hotheads, like juice heads or something too, right? Like someone will say something, and if you're like, I don't want to fight this guy, so don't say it. Connor would be like, you know, and as soon as there's that look, it's like, our buddy Travis has this line. He's like, "What boys? That's us. It's time to fight.
It's time to go."
so then who's like? Is there like a peacekeeper among you guys? Is there a voice that's like, guys, we should probably go.
Probably
pretty good now.
At the time, that would probably have been Taylor, because I remember vividly,
I was wearing vests in that photo. I'm not a fighter to say like.
I remember vividly a conversation. We were going out in Ajax, and the bouncer wouldn't let us into this bar.
They stood out a lot, Nate. When they came up to me, like, when you guys came to where I was, you guys stood out a lot.
And I just remember Bob, who's like, you were like as into working out as you are now, and like but like 10, whatever years younger, like jacked up on testosterone, like natural testosterone. Yeah. And the bouncer wouldn't let us in. It was
low T.
The low T. The bouncer
back when he had testosterone.
The bouncer wouldn't let us in. I just remember all like, let me off my leash, like on the goes, you can't fight the bouncers, dude. They're gonna kill us.
I forgot about that. Take me off my leash.
Take me off my leash. It's just like
that should be a name of the song. Your next one, right?
Take me off my leash. What does that mean?
Yeah, but no, it's just I guess it's like it's so different. I guess even being that young, but like going to like again those small towns and then them coming to like even though Ajax is still I guess it's a city, but it's still a small city. But like when I would go to them, I would stand out, and like Colin said, like instantly I walk into a country bar and it was like everyone in the city knows each other, right? It's such a small town, and then they would come here and they would just be like, I don't know, you guys would be in like
no consequences. Nobody knows.
No, but they would be in like overalls at like.
You draw attention to yourself. Yeah, exactly.
You guys just stand out.
Straight up, you stand out. You go like we'd come like to the city or whatever and like be wearing like not even thinking that we were being like ignorant for wearing what we were wearing, just wearing what we would normally wear
coming
and standing
from
out.
Work, like just coming straight from work.
Because that's how you kind of do it.
Smelling like a farm. Like,
smelling like a farm, or like same with like Bob and Taylor, like coming to like the small town. Like Bob would say, it'd be like literally if someone showed up to the bar in Lindsay and wasn't from there, everyone would be like, who's that? Right?
Who's
or
the
like,
guy?
You think you're someone special dressing like that? Right? It's like if you wore.
Like Ajax. I had no idea.
It was so funny. Like we had this thing. It was like if you wore like a crazy looking coat to Lindsay and stand outside the bar within 20 minutes, it's covered in blood because somebody's gonna say something. It's gonna go down. It's just
the way
how it was. Yeah, so it is.
It's home.
Yeah,
it's home. Oh my gosh! I love that. There's so many stories behind this.
So many stories.
There's so many. Yeah. Well, why don't you guys pick a photo?
Okay. Let's pick this one first. Feels lucky. Okay. This is pretty sick. That's a great photo.
That is a great photo.
This one's pretty recent. So.
That's when I was holding your side bag, James.
Yeah, Bobby has his crossbody bag.
I was holding his James's, but
and his coach purse, and we got the opportunity. This is actually was a crazy one.
Is that Chad? There's Chad.
Yeah, we got the opportunity to open up for Nickelback in St. John's, New Brunswick.
Wow.
And it was Arkells too. Like it was like we called it like a Canadian heritage moment.
Yeah.
Because it was like us, Arkells, and Nickelback. It was like kind of all the whole spectrum. And it was sick. First off, like I feel like maybe 10 years ago or further back, it wouldn't have been a thing to have like a country group open up for a rock group, but it feels like those two genres have very much like, combined or whatever. And the fans are kind of the same fans now. And it was so sick. One, because like the crowd was amazing. Yeah. And I mean, St. John's is amazing. Like the crowds there are always awesome. But then two, to be able to, we just hung around and like, had some drinks and hung out and watched the show and then got to hang out and drink with Chad after. Like, and super nice dude.
What did you guys talk about when you were hanging out with Chad?
I blacked out. I don't know. Not from drinking, just
tired.
Yeah.
It was, I think, one of my favorite, I guess, interactions as a band. Like James and Chad, like were talking, and Chad looked at James and he said, "I really like your guys' music." And James said, "You don't have to say that. Like, thank you, but you don't have to." And Chad was just like, "Yeah, I know. I don't have to say anything." But I actually, and he was like, "I actually dig your music," and I was like, "Oh, that's really cool." But I just love that you were kind of like,
it's kind of like you don't have to do the fronting thing. He's like, "Oh, I know. I don't have to do anything I don't want to do." I was like,
that sounds exactly like he would definitely say that.
Yeah, he's exactly. You guys have probably he's exactly how you would want him to be. Like that was like I was like I'm meeting like Chad Kroeger of Nickelback, and it was like exactly who I wanted him to be. And I was like, that's the coolest thing.
Also, and whatever, they get love and hate everywhere or whatever, but like everyone is a Nickelback fan, whether they say they like them or not. 100%. That's not true. Everyone knows every word to a Nickelback song, and obviously being in the crowd at the concert, it's like every song has like not like a flashback thing, but it's like I remember where it was. I remember watching that video. I remember like blaring that in the gym for the first time or whatever. It's like every Nickelback song has a thing.
I have an embarrassing story. So I was interviewing Chad Nickelback at the ACC, and I go up on stage with them, and he gives me his guitar, and he goes, "Here's the mic. Sing whatever you want."
No way. On the
spot. All cool. And I sing "Let It Go."
No, you didn't.
And my camera guy's like Sangita, like you had that with Nickelback.
Anything in the world. Anything in the world.
Frozen. you could tell I'm a mother, right?
Yeah.
But I was just like, he's the coolest guy ever. Like, he just let me have a moment and enjoy it all. And
It was also
he's
was really
so
cool.
great.
Like when you're talking about the fandom, how like everybody is a fan,
Mm-hmm.
and through all those sort of ups and downs, like they know it.
yeah.
Like, he
Oh,
knows
absolutely,
all of
absolutely.
I
The
was
documentary is really.
I watched that
eye-opening.
documentary
Yeah.
3 times this year, and
It's
I was
incredible.
it was so cool, and I loved how like aware of like their thing. And the one thing I'll say why I love their show is like I've seen other acts like that I'm fans of, and I'll go see their show, and they'll do the thing where they play like a bunch of like new music, which is fine, but then like I love that they came out, they played like a new song, and then they just played the hits. Like they was like, we're gonna now play like 90 minutes of every single song that you know, and it was honestly one of the best shows and production. Probably,
And
like,
yeah, 10 out of 10. Like
Pyro
they
is
sound.
Chad's very self-aware. That's
Yeah,
what
oh
it feels
yeah.
like with
Yes.
those guys. You know what I mean? With rock stars, you can get it where it's like there has to be like ego, and I think like you need to have that ego too. But he's like just very aware of what he is and what they are because like they're dope. I guess it's probably easier to be self-aware when you're awesome.
Yeah.
There's also like this. There's also still a mystique, right? Because there are these stories about them that kind of go around. Did you hear this story about
Yeah.
the Lambo and this or this car?
Yes.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
I asked him about a story once, and he basically was like, "Well, what did you hear?"
Oh, that's a
Right?
good answer.
That's,
And-
that's sick.
And what's wild, like I'm curious for you guys when you think about the idea of being famous or the idea of getting to a certain point in your career, is that the goal to have like, you know what I mean? Like to have
ton of
all these
stories.
stories that you can just like sit on high and be like,
you don't have to correct it.
Yeah.
You just let it be.
I mean, that's pretty sick. Like almost like you said, it's like the mystique,
Folklore.
Like
Yeah.
it is. It's
Yeah.
like, was it true or wasn't it true? It's like, well, if you think it, it's true. You know what I mean? It becomes that thing.
well, we're not doing that here. We're telling truth
Yeah,
here.
right,
Right?
right,
Yeah. All right, pick another photo.
Who wants to pick one? Someone else. I'll take this one out of the way.
You go,
yeah,
one
I'll
more.
take it.
Please let this be a good one.
Not that one. I think that might have been.
Did your seat go back?
Just broke the couch.
Oh, wow. Put it on
Are
the
you
recount.
okay?
I'm golden.
"You're good. Do you want to take
I
the
think
sack?"
I don't know what's more embarrassing, the
like-
photo.
Oh, there we go.
it's broken, guys.
Ah, we broke the internet.
Oh,
There we
that's
go.
so funny.
Okay, we're golden.
There we go.
Oh man, this is
Just fell off our
good.
Okay,
stand.
you're good.
All
This
right,
is really
fantastic.
good.
I think that might be the picture where I unfollowed you on Instagram.
Yeah, I think you did. And you're not like James did on like when we were early on in the band. He would. You guys would both.
do it all the
They
time.
would follow me and
I still do
unfollow
it.
me on a thing. But
I don't know that I follow you still. I feel like I was trying to. Maybe I'll save for your birthday or something.
But such a great post it was. I mean, so one of the things I noticed there's a little bit of
Let me read
thirst
it. No,
trap
you're
stuff
not
going
reading
on with him. Right?
Yes, it's-
You're a CrossFitter, I understand.
no, this
Or
is
used
like
to be?
this is back. I used to work at Good Life.
Okay.
And this isn't a good look for Good Life. If you're hiring this as your trainer, this is not a good look. But it was.
Can I tell
don't
a
know.
secret? Remember you used to use Just for Men on your mustache?
I used to. Damn.
It's good sponsorship though.
Damn,
Yeah.
you
Never
pulled-
forget.
you pulled
Get that,
the
get
good
that
look.
sponsorship money, guys.
Wait, and let's not forget though, if this is
know.
in there,
I
there's
know.
something else here. But
Oh yeah.
yeah, no, I don't even know what to say here. I'm really.
What do you say
embarrassed.
about a photo like
What
that?
do you say about a photo like that? Other
What
than
was this moment about? Like,
I mean-
you look great.
early on in our career, like in playing in like bars in like the last couple of years, like you stay out late and you get party and all that.
You get
stuff,
puffy.
and then you get a little puffy, and then this was my moment when I was
Creatine
just
and
like,
alcohol don't mix.
and this is probably like my moment of like, what does it say?
Oh, I don't even know.
That's 25. Down 50 pounds. So add 50 pounds to that bad boy there. And
Call yourself bad boy.
I didn't mean it like that. I didn't mean it like that.
Add 50
boy
pounds
right
a
there.
day.
But,
You can see what he looks like.
I used to be that guy who did a lot of Instagram.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's
Showing
thirsty
off.
boy.
It'd be funny. It's like, we'll pick up another. They're all just.
Actually, that would have been hilarious.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's good.
It's a good one.
Should we pull another?
Yeah,
photo?
sure.
How red is my face right now?
You-
That'd be good. Okay.
Yours is actually the reddest right now.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
the entire time,
dying.
I feel like you're just holding back.
They're
more
all safe.
stories
They're all safe.
every
They're all
time.
Oh man. And to be fair, I actually had that soul patch yesterday.
Nice.
I had that
Yeah.
same
Can
kind
I
of
see
look,
the photo?
but then
Kinda
Very
like
Chris
this one.
Gaines.
yeah,
Oh, my
I had
glasses.
that
Chris Gaines.
Chris Gaines.
Ah.
little soul patch. But then Kristen said
I got
that
soul, but I'm not a
she
soul
said I was
patch.
looking like I was like a Orlando, like a pirate So
Right.
I was just like,
Orlando, what were you
Oh,
doing?
like
Orlando Bloom.
Like Orlando, Florida.
But that's a huge
Looking
claim.
a bit too much like Orlando Bloom.
Yeah, like
I like
a
the
little
tattoo.
bit.
I'm looking a bit too much like Orlando
I do like
Bloom.
the idea, though, that,
Yeah.
in another universe, your nickname would have been Chris Gaines with a
Yeah.
Z on
Chris
it.
Gaines.
Oh,
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, there you
Alter
go.
ego.
Dang,
Okay.
stealing
Oh,
that.
man.
I was gonna hide it for
You
him,
can
but
frame
it's-
it.
Yeah, leave it there. Let it.
What's the
let
next
it
one?
marinate.
Oh no!
The next one, okay.
Oh, that's a fun one.
Oh yeah. We all wanted to have Connor's hair
was
for a
gonna say,
photo, but
yeah.
didn't have
I love
the.
that, yeah.
Everybody's just dying to be me.
Connor's the only one who didn't need Photoshop there. That's actually.
Let me see it.
That's
Who
all
came up
real.
with this? And I mean, what's going on?
That was actually our buddy Austin Chafe came up with that. He was like, this was like early AI, which like, I'm trying to think of who's the meanest to.
I really like how I look with hair.
That's good.
Yeah,
So like
It's
for
kind of mean to Dean. They did Dean dirty
a little.
on this one.
so for anyone
some weird things with his face.
that maybe if you're listening you can't see the photo. It's one of their. Was this just like a promo shot?
It was like a.
Yeah, like the single artwork.
It was a single artwork,
Yeah,
right? Yeah, it was a
single
single
artwork.
artwork for a song we did. We featured on a Dean Brody song. Dean's a buddy of ours.
Yeah.
And the song's kind of like a tongue-in-cheek song, or like how do we make the artwork fit the vibe of the song?
It's just 5 cool dudes sitting on a
Yeah.
Trans Am, the coolest car ever made.
Yeah, exactly.
That's
Honestly,
my
though.
dad has that car.
For real.
Yeah.
But he would never let us sit on
But
it.
so everyone goes, "Oh, it's the Smokey and the Bandit car," and his is like all gold. He has the gold one.
Oh, nice.
You're
And so
kidding.
I always bring it. I was like, "Yeah, Dad, that's the car in Detroit Rock City that the kids who listen to disco
Yeah.
get run off the road." And he goes, "There's no disco kids with my car." I was like, "Okay, you gotta,
Okay.
you gotta go
Okay,
watch
Dad.
Detroit Rock City." But
That's crazy.
So I mean,
That's awesome.
obviously they were trying to copy your look, is what you were saying.
Yeah, classic.
But
How do you get your look?
when you see all these guys with that hair, who do you think pulls it off the best?
Oh, good question.
Yeah.
Let's see.
That's a tough one.
Merci.
Oh, merci.
Merci.
And that's not like a modern mullet. We're
Honestly,
talking a mega mullet.
Yeah, it is a very.
It's Taylor. For
Taylor,
Sure.
there
Taylor,
you go.
I'm telling you,
if
It's
I
because with the beard, it's like just
But
give
it's
70s.
it's also like the what's it called, like the coif, like just how nice and like perfectly shaped it is.
Austin did a lot of work on you.
Yeah,
like I
he
feel
did.
like Ozzy.
you look great. Austin must have worked hard.
How many fingers do I have?
To make
Because
you look
AI.
Oh, wait, actually, 1, 2,
Oh, I got
3.
2 broken fingers.
Yeah, your
for
fingers
sure.
don't look good.
And I got
but-
3.5 fingers there.
And we
Yeah,
all
I
have
get
white cowboy boots on, which is
Oh, yeah.
Not even tucked in.
not even tucked in.
Name tucked in.
Wow,
Yeah.
look at us.
You kind of look like
No
Mick
etiquette.
Foley in the back.
Yeah, mankind.
Yeah. Shout out Mick Foley.
But you guys
Cactus
have a
Jack,
lot
baby.
of fun with this stuff. Like you
We-
guys are up for everything.
Yeah.
We do. We spend like a lot of time just like brainstorming
Yeah.
on like different ideas to try and do stuff that doesn't feel like stock or like default. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like try and do stuff that's a little bit different. And if it suits the vibe, you know, why not? Go a little outside of the box. You know, there's some things where you're like, you don't want to go silly on a serious song, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if the song's a little bit, you know, a little bit different, tongue in cheek, like I said, then why not
Yeah.
explore that, right? Get something that stands out a little bit.
Well, like
and
perfect
has a story.
Perfect example is like one of our songs, "Keep It Simple." I think it's like one of our most streamed songs we ever did. And when I first heard it, I was just like, "This is too," like you said, it was too not out there. But I was like, I don't think that this is gonna work. And then like it's always cool to push the boundaries because you never know exactly if it's gonna land. Or,
And I feel like we've learned that. It's like pushing boundaries is almost always the right answer. Like sonically, whenever we're like, this feels a little bit too weird, it's like that makes it stickier. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like don't be the Pepsi version to someone else. You know what I mean? Like go and do something totally unique.
There goes that sponsorship.
Yeah.
You know, that sponsorship.
Well, you've still got Just for Men, so you're good.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah,
true.
fair.
Shout out Chess for Me.
Are they connected somehow? Like a higher company
Yeah,
owns both?
Yeah.
Don't talk about it.
Could.
But let's talk about music. Like, is there something that you guys like? A lot of people are getting into country music now. I feel
Yeah.
like this is the place to be. Do you want to do something else? Do you want to stay in the grounds of country music? Have you kind of tapped into another? Talking about rock earlier. Is there anything you want to? Because you said getting out of the boundary. Like, is there anything you want to touch?
I mean, it's so hard because country music is kind of all encompassing, and I do kind of feel like even though we're like in country, we don't really pay too attention. Like, it's not like we like look at it and be like, well, you have to do it within the confines of this.
Right.
Like we pretty much just make music we think is sick. You know what I mean? And like you probably could put some of that stuff on rock radio and it would pass as rock, and you could probably put some of it on pop radio and it would pass as pop, right? But we just make music we think is sick, and I think mainly what makes it country, I guess, is like the relatability of the lyrics, right? So sonically, we try and always push the envelope. Like even on our new single, You Didn't Hear It From Me,
Mm-hmm.
you know, you always do have like a demo of the song and hear how they sound. And then when you start, you know, when you're like commit to it, going to be a song that gets released, you really, you know, dive deep on it. And on this one, we're like, how do you make that song feel unique and special? And it was like, you know, get some synths in there that make it sound a little more like the Killers or stuff like that. I just feel like we've never really like had our, I mean, to Universal's credit, they've never once like clipped wings on that stuff.
Boxed us in.
Yeah, not even at all. They're so like, go do what you guys think is art to you. And so it would be sick to like work with artists in other genres. I think that's really cool.
Who?
Oh man.
You guys must have some favorites.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I'm trying to think of like who's someone who's sick right now. That would be cool. I mean, there's so many cool like people who you can tell are really creative. Like there are people like the Louis Capaldis and stuff who I know Taylor's a huge fan, but just people that
say Louis Capaldi.
Yeah.
people that I would look at, and I don't know about the rest of the guys, but I would look at them like they're true artists. You know what I mean?
Noah
Yeah,
Kahn and
that's-
stuff.
Noah Kahn.
Yeah.
No Con, Stephen Wilson Jr. We were
He's a
talking,
big
like, he's a
guy.
true artist.
Stephen
I really
Wilson
like
Jr.
Marcus King. His stuff is really cool.
Yeah.
And I guess, well, this is in another genre, but like people that like, and I got a personal relationship with Hardy, but like people like that where I know, because I know him, that he sleeps and breathes music. You know what I mean? And I feel like that's the people you want to work with, because that's the same way we are. You want somebody who gets us fired up when they hear, like when they write a dope song or get on down a dope rabbit hole on a certain kind of music or certain kind of instrument or whatever. Those are people you want to work with.
Yeah.
Even like Max and the Arkells or whatever, like you can just tell
Yeah.
like that thing is a thing that's 24/7, 365, and has been for, I don't know, a long time. But it's just like music is their passion.
And music's kind of funny, right? Because like as you know, it's not musicians or writers or stuff usually that box music into genres, right? That seems like an external thing to the creator mentality for the most part. So like creators just like working with other creators, right? That they vibe with, right? Because not everybody, like especially in Nashville, you write with everybody, and you don't vibe with most people, right? It's like pretty limited who you actually like really get in that thing with. I mean, you can stomach working with most people, and I don't mean that in a negative way, but people that you're actually like, oh, we're
This clicks.
we're on it. This clicks.
Yeah.
We're on the same. I don't need to say things. We're picking up the vibe, right? And so I feel like as creators, you just want to be around people that like are thinking
Yeah.
similar to you, but also different enough that they're going to pull different stuff out of you and say stuff that you're like, that's sick. I never would have thought of that. And I feel like working with anyone in any genre where you know they're doing stuff like that.
And is that how you guys work? Like you come up with a concept and you're like, you know what, we could do this, or we can add this to it, or
Yes.
lyrically, like, is there a vibe that you guys come together and say, you know, this is going to be great?
I feel like everything we do falls into that. Everything is always up for conversation.
Okay.
I feel like it needs to be in order to make. Now that makes for like a lot of long conversations and a lot of difficult conversations, because so much about art is subjective.
You're right.
But as long as you have like the same
filter, it's always
filter and same like not even 10,000 feet, but like 1 million feet goals, right? Of like we're trying to achieve this thing. I don't mean like trying to achieve like making money. I mean like trying to achieve this vibe
Right.
for this song or this emotion for this song. I think that as long as you can be like you remove the loophole of subjectivity if you have that. Because you don't go, well, I like this better because I like it better. And it's, well, I like this better because I like it better. It's like, well, which one of those things do we think achieves this most?
Right.
Right? And you generally don't have to go to that point, but if everybody's doing that like in their brain, it just makes the process so much better.
So this goes back to the, that question that we were talking about earlier on, like, well, how do you guys make it work? How do you stick together? Having those same goals.
Yes.
And having that same vision of like what music means to you together.
Yeah.
It keeps you guys,
That and like emotionless, transparent communication. Like the truth all the time, clear, and don't take an emotion away from it. You just gotta.
Yeah, exactly.
And is that easy for you to do?
Not always.
We've gotten better.
Yeah.
It hasn't always been.
Yeah.
But
so
we've also
music
hammered-
is emotion, right? So how do you?
Well, and we've hammered it out over coming up on what 10 or 11 years now, like 2015 or whatever. So
Since 1984.
It's been a while.
since
few
before we
decades.
were born, we were working on it.
It's hard because like I feel like creators, we're gonna get super hippie here, but like
Let's go.
I feel like creative people, in order to be in the creative space, you need to be sensitive. Like your needle, on your little radar of like what feels like something and doesn't feel like something needs to be super like dialed in. And so you need to be more dialed in on on how something is feeling, but because of that, because you're more literally sensitive to emotions, you're more sensitive to when people argue against your emotions. Do you know what I mean? Like you pick up on vibes that those things come together with me. You know what I mean? That's kind of the yin and yang of being a creator, is you need to be able to pick up on, you know, sensitive little things and emotions. And because of that, you're going to be more sensitive, right?
Yeah.
And so I feel like, you know,
and that's the way that I think, not to cut you off there, but like where you're talking about, like, I guess maybe like getting put into a box and something like that. It's not so much other people doing it. I think it's a lot of artists who put themselves in that box. Where like with us, it's like from starting out in bars and gaining success and like the success that we've had, that sometimes you get into your head like 5 years down the road and you're just like, oh, well, like, I don't want to do these kind of songs, like party songs, because like I think like they're not like us anymore. Like, do you know what I mean? They're not like artsy enough.
or we've overdone it.
And then you start questioning yourself and you kind of move away from that. And then it's like what we got really good at in the last, I guess, couple years is dialing in our brand of like what we are. And like, I mean, we are a group of country guys who make music for like other people like us to relate to, like the small town, like working class kind of thing. And we're like, we are really good at making party songs. Like that's one of, I think our vibe is like, we're really good at like those drinking songs, and like getting back to like what we think our brand is what we've done the last little bit, which you can maybe explain that better than I got lost in my words.
But no, we totally are. We're dialed in now on what it is, because I feel like most artists must go through some sort of a, like, I don't know even what you would call it. Something if you painted it on a grid, it would be like it shoots up and then it kind of goes like this, and then they figure it out, right? Or they don't.
Like an identity crisis almost?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, finding who you are, right? Like you just said, in the last 2 years, you've kind of owned in on who you, JBB is, right?
Absolutely.
So,
And
because
the music we like to make.
yeah.
Because when an artist first blows up, for the most part, I think there's maybe a few outliers here, but if an artist first blows up, the thing that they're doing that made them blow up will be 100% authentic, right? Yeah. It'll be something authentic that happened, and then someone poured gas on it or introduced them. You know what I mean? Like a label was able to see it, someone saw it and saw there's something special and was able to, like, you know, help build that fire up. But then you go from here to here, usually in like a year, right? And then you get up there, and the leap, the fame messes with the authenticity, because all of a sudden then you like look back on yourself. Right? It's like there's like, I don't remember where I heard this analogy. It wasn't for music, but there's like a moment where like you're looking out a window, and then at some point you realize you see a reflection. And then once you see a reflection, you can't unsee it. Do you know what I mean? So that first little bit you're looking through the window, and then you have that second part and you start questioning, am I this? Are we this? What are we? Are we that? We have to, and you try to like formulate it.
Yeah, you also want to sustain, right? Like once you hit that high, you want to stay in that high, right?
Once you get to that point, you have all these pressures around you from all sides.
Now I need to do it.
Yeah.
Before I wanted to do it, now I need to do it.
Yeah.
Right? Whereas like it takes a lot of like mental acrobatics, to fix that, to overcome that, right? And I think that's constant for an artist, because you need to be constantly doing that thing. Is like you have to like have this unrealistic level of confidence, because you're trying to do an unrealistic thing. You're trying to do a thing that most people can't do, which is you're trying to like be famous. You're trying to connect with millions of people. That is not a realistic goal. And if you don't believe you can achieve it, then you're not going to achieve it. Like no one's ever done that by accident. No one's ever won by accident.
And we're lucky that we have 4 of us.
Yes,
like,
absolutely.
I couldn't imagine like doing it solo, because like there's a lot of times, like at least if we're questioning something, we have 3 other people
To bounce it off of.
Can bounce
And
it
if you're
off
like,
of.
oh, you're feeling the similar way, like you don't feel crazy. Yeah.
So what was that high for you guys?
I mean,
When was that moment for you?
I feel like that first year after like Lawn Chair came out and stuff,
It was crazy.
it was crazy. And I feel like honestly, like we probably didn't, because you don't really, until things start not slowing down but leveling off. Because like an artist's career always does this, and then like I'll start doing like this. Hopefully it's going well. It never does this forever, because eventually you've hit everybody, right?
Yeah.
And so I feel like it was probably that point, like where you get into the, probably wasn't until after our second record, you know what I mean? Because things were still ripping there. And also like that happened right kind of as COVID hit.
Right.
And so I feel like COVID, which I will look back at, and I think all of us probably look back at like fondly in a lot of aspects, but that really like from going and being like super like go to all of a sudden tons of momentum and just tons of things to like keep you distracted about thinking about yourself.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden it's like sit at home, don't do anything. The thing you've been doing since you were 16, playing live music in front of people,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
can't
interacting with fans, like everything. Yeah,
You
then
miss
you
that the
and then you
most,
just
yeah.
lose it.
Like,
And the
really
thing that
our-
makes you income, like we like to get out and play for people who couldn't. It was like,
Yeah.
oh, we're musicians.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you just don't realize, like, I feel like as a musician or most people in your life, you have things that, like, you have just, you tell yourself, like, stories about who you are. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? But you maybe don't realize what the truth is. And I feel like that maybe was a bit of one for us, where you don't even realize how much you need to be doing that thing and how much you've built your personality and your identity over doing it. And you're like, so if that thing isn't there, because it's not there right now.
Who am I?
Yeah, literally.
Yeah.
It's,
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
it's literally like, what am I even, what's my purpose?
Mm-hmm.
Like, and that sounds like such a cliche to say, but like, what is my day to day? Like, literally, who am I? And when you're not doing that. And so COVID did that. It was like the craziest thing. It was like day in and day out of doing that. And
Look
we were
at
able
both
to,
of you are like, damn,
Yeah,
man.
like,
We went through it. It was
deep and dark
hard.
real quick.
yeah.
You remember that day?
Yeah.
But
Right.
also through it, family,
Yes.
right?
Well,
It
absolutely.
made us
Creation,
slow
yeah.
down. It made us realize the priorities in
Yeah,
a way,
well,
right? I think we
Massive
all
amounts of
went through this.
reflection, massive amounts of
Yeah, so
reflection.
I mean, you guys are all family guys too, right?
Absolutely. And I think that, like, that time, you know, I can only speak for myself, but like that time, I'm so thankful to have had that time. To get to, obviously, like, on the career stuff is like that, but also that reckoning that happened would have happened some other time.
Right.
Right? And so there's a lot of positives. Like, I know from, you know, we had our first son during COVID and got to spend
COVID creation,
time there. And it's just like, my wife and I talk often about, like, remember how we used to just, like, we were at home for like a year, and we like an outing would be like, go get Starbucks and drive around or whatever. Like, that's all it was. But we had, like, you know, the stress of being like, is the world ending or whatever,
Yeah.
right? But also, like, we had each other and we just got to hang out, right?
Yeah.
Like, it was pretty mad times.
Played a lot of Fortnite.
Yeah.
Got
I will
so sweaty and
I
Fortnite.
will. Man, we squatted up too
Oh,
much.
yeah.
Man, I will say
Yeah.
though, that first
Yeah.
that first month.
And you were working out.
You put yourself in
Am I right?
prison.
Bobby's also actually
Yeah, the
pretty
prison workouts,
pretty decent at
100%.
Fortnite too. He was on it.
Bobby rips Fortnite.
Yeah.
No
Wait a
way.
sec. So this is more a question for my son than for me, but also for me. When are the skins coming for Fortnite? The JBB
Oh,
skins.
man,
and,
true.
That would be incredible.
That would be
really
fun.
sick.
That would be great, but I can say without for fact, if I go back and check my credit card statement of what I spent,
On skins.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, really?
if
During COVID?
Kristen ever finds out what I spent on Fortnite, I'm in trouble because like it got ridiculous.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
like when they started entering like all the music and that, we
Yes.
kind of missed that window maybe to get our music on there. But
It was that first month of COVID though. I tell you what, it got grim. It got grim. Where you're like, well, remember when everyone was like, "It's only gonna last 2 weeks. We could just drink
just
all the
drink,
time,
yeah.
play video games, and do it." And then you're like,
A year later,
a
you're
month
like, oh,
in,
God.
a couple months in, you're like, this isn't sustainable anymore. We can't do this all the time.
There's a lot of times when people went silent on the other end, you're just like, okay, and they just passed out. It's like,
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah. You good?
put
You
it
good?
down.
All right, let's do another
Yeah.
photo.
Yeah. Oh, sorry, we got
Go back to
distracted.
you.
Fortnite. Wait, did
Oh,
everyone
yeah.
go? Connor didn't go.
Uh-oh.
Oh,
there we go. Yeah, that's a good segue.
Yeah, good segue.
That was last year at the Ketabala.
Yep.
Is that-
2 years ago?
So yes, oh yeah,
I was
2
gonna
years
say,
ago.
huh?
God, that's terrifying. Yeah, that was
Don't
like,
even know when she's pregnant.
Or was this year?
yeah.
Kidding,
So
just
God,
kidding.
yeah.
Don't
Surprise.
panic, don't panic.
A new announcement.
That was a pretty awesome. That's my wife, Steph. For people who don't know,
Just some random.
yeah. And she
Yeah,
wrote
that
this
that
up.
would have gone pretty south if it wasn't.
I didn't.
Yeah, exactly.
At all.
But we thought that was, and it was like a packed house, and it was like the moment in the middle of the show. It was a pretty awesome
You
moment.
didn't
especially-
know.
No, I kind of knew.
You didn't know she was going to do this.
No, I had no idea, and nobody else knew.
No.
Like, so
Right,
that was
cool.
the main thing. Is like we hadn't told
So
anyone.
you
So it was
guys
like,
didn't know.
No,
I don't know. The guys didn't
Not
know.
until we saw the sign, and like I'm a huge, and if you guys didn't
The
know,
reference, yeah.
the reference was from like a Blink-182
Blink-182.
music, yeah, and
Yeah.
it was all the small things, isn't it?
Yeah.
on
Yeah.
the beach, yeah. Travis, I'm pregnant, and then yeah, this is hilarious.
And it felt like the perfect time too, because Ketabala is like what feels like coming home for us. You know what I mean? It's like a second home for us because we play it every year, and it's just like so many of our friends and family, like our parents and stuff, were all there. It was a pretty special moment
So-
and a sick photo.
Did you reference it on stage? Like, what was that?
Yes,
what was the
absolutely.
audience
Like,
reaction?
Yeah, absolutely. It's like, hey, what's that sign say up there or whatever? And everyone's like, and all the guys were like, what? My noise.
And everyone just making noises.
Yeah, crazy. No one had words.
All right, let's do another one.
Yeah.
Go Tay.
I already didn't
Yeah,
I
but
pull
James-
one?
Oh, I guess
Oh.
it starts back at James then.
Con, did you pull one?
Yeah.
I like that
Comes
there's a
full
system. Like,
Yeah,
there's an
anyone can
unspoken
pick it.
This
system
is
that
how
you
it
guys
works.
are-
Oh,
Yeah.
God.
Oh, good
Yeah.
Speaking of
What is it?
pregnancies,
Oh no.
What's that?
Oh,
Oh,
man.
yeah.
we were
My first
actually,
boy.
Painful.
we were actually just saying that it
Look how red my face
You
is.
committed.
You
You committed
committed.
hard.
You committed, yeah.
So yeah, give us
Yeah.
the overview of what this entire situation is here.
What's going on?
And was this natural
I get-
birth? What was
You-
it?
This was your idea. Just
This
to give
is-
credit where credit is due. 'cause it's
Everyone,
excellent.
this is what happens when you give like a band maybe too much freedom to be like, post whatever you guys want.
Yeah, do you?
And then they're like CCMAs, which we have a great relationship with. We wanted to like do something like honoring like that. We just got
Why
our
don't you do something that honored you?
Honors.
Not the word I would
no,
use.
but like everyone, like we just got the awards like in the mail that day, and we're like, well, we need to do a post. Like everyone's posting their shots with the awards, and everyone was doing like the like just holding it up, being like, thank you, which is a great thing to do as well, which is probably what we
Should have done.
But we're like,
Respectfully.
do you know what
were
the
like-
CCMA would love if we had four? Or no, I guess how many times? I guess we
Yeah,
did four different like
Scenes.
scenes
Oh.
of like us getting the awards, and we did it, and they actually loved it. Like they shared it on their page and everything. But there was this one, the Heisman
The Heisman.
one. What else was there? You had
I made a call with Rooster.
you did the Johnny Manziel on the phone
Oh,
with the
right,
money
that's
thing,
what it- yeah.
and I forget the other one. But we thought it was like hilarious, and then we posted it, and we're probably it's one of those things you post like that where you're like, should.
Not to mention in the background, James's dog in an astronaut
Yeah,
suit.
we
Why
have a
did you do
picture
that?
that's in my studio, and we've got my dog Bobby. I named my dog after Bobby,
Nice.
and in an astronaut outfit. She's an astronaut.
She's
We're
been
pretty
to space,
proud.
Yeah.
Pretty proud.
The most actually high achiever of all of you guys. was
Yeah.
The
yeah,
dog.
Yeah.
by far.
University
by
educated.
far.
That was
I love
crazy.
it. Yeah.
And do you know what I messed up too? Because this is maybe a good segue. Because at your wedding,
you messed up a lot.
Jeffrey
Wedding was
got
crazy.
James like an amazing gift, and it was a photo. And for the longest time, I thought Jeffrey got James the golden retriever photo, and I was always like confused of why. Why did Jeffrey get him the golden retriever photo?
No,
and
he
it
didn't
turned
give
out
me
that
that.
he got him a Johnny like you
A
could
Johnny and June like picture, like a original frame photo or
like
whatever.
a one of
man.
one beautiful photo.
Amazing.
But
Yeah.
the whole time for like 3 months, I was like, I couldn't.
What's
I
the
kept,
inside joke here?
Why did he get him a golden retriever as
Jeffrey
an
have a
action
picture of Bobby.
of the dog? But yeah,
Did you guys perform at your wedding?
Okay, my wedding was wild. I had said I just want to have like the biggest party we possibly
Yeah.
can. I think we had 350 people, and I got Michael Eckert, who's our like pedal steel players from Toronto here. I was like, I need you to find the all-star band, and we're gonna have like basically like live karaoke,
Nice.
right?
Very
And he's
cool.
like, I'll get guys who can play literally everything. He's like, submit like a list of like the 50 songs you want us to play, and then do the rest. And it was like, I remember coming in at one point. And Bobby, it was like at a farm out in Woodville. I was at my old boss's farm that the tractor's from, the picture. And
The ceremony was in a cornfield.
ceremony's in a cornfield.
Like
They
cut
really
out.
cut out a hole in the cornfield. And-
Amazing.
but I remember coming in at one point, and the band was like ripping Africa, and Bobby was just sitting like on the dirt with it. I don't think he even had a shirt on anymore.
he
Definitely
didn't.
didn't have shoes or socks on. Like sitting in the dirt, smoking a cigarette alone, listening to the band play Africa. It was crazy. I was like, "What is going on?" I was Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas in there. It's crazy.
I don't remember anything of James's wedding. It's like I'm sure it was a beautiful.
It was wild.
ceremony,
The
and-
cops ended up showing up at the end because there was a fight.
Yeah.
Oh,
Well, you had a Ferris wheel. I remember this. You had a Ferris wheel,
The last gas powered.
and it was a
Last
gas powered.
gas-powered Ferris wheel in Ontario.
Wow.
And the
Yeah.
guy running it, and every time I tell the story, we exaggerate. So like, he might have had a hook for a hand for all I know.
was
it
crazy,
was
dude.
crazy, and he
Drinking a
had
2-liter
bottle of Coca-Cola, which definitely wasn't. It definitely was
Like half
mixed,
Weisers.
half
Yeah,
Weisers, half Coca-Cola, and he was just ripping
the Ferris
the
wheel
thing
so
was going
fast.
so fast, and I was like, this is going to be like some like final destination
no.
thing.
It was crazy, and then he had like these little helpers with him that tried to steal booze from the bar. It was crazy. It
It
was
feels like you're describing a music video that you're pitching. Like it doesn't
Yeah,
sound like
yeah,
real
yeah.
life. Yeah.
really was. It was
was-
pretty crazy.
That was a wild night.
Oh, it was a wild night. Crazy.
All right, we got one more, guys.
Okay.
Oh,
Thank God.
is it safe?
It's a good one. This is a good one.
There we go.
Our debut at the Grand Ole
The
Opry.
Opry.
Pretty wild. We're coming up on a year.
Oh, yeah.
That is 27th of Feb.
This is the only time in the history of our performances that I actually like blacked out. Like completely,
checks
like
out.
we were walking on stage and I got like so nervous and like I was seeing stars and my pupils, like my vision like dialed in. Right
Tunnels,
when
really?
we started, because what did we start with?
Heartbeat.
Heartbeat. My hands were like tingling. I was like sweating. That was the scariest gig we've ever done for me.
That was a pretty wild one because there was so much pressure leading up to it, like your own pressure on yourself, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because you know so much about how big of a deal Grand Ole Opry is.
Yeah.
But it was like pretty crazy because you only do 2 songs, right? Because like anyone who's ever seen the Opry, like even people who do it, it's not like people headline and play like half an hour. Like everyone does like 3 songs, a variety show, right? And it was pretty unbelievable. Like and it's funny, like Jamie, the guy who runs the Opry, was like, I was like, any advice? And he was like, just take a second as you walk out and consciously be like, this is what I'm here right now.
Right.
And he's like,
Live
because
the
if
moment,
yes, he's like, if you don't, it'll be over.
Yeah,
it'll
and
be
that's
over.
what happened to me for sure.
Yeah.
I just like got 2 in my head and then it was over.
And I think like opposite of what Connor said, or what Connor's experience and stuff, we had obviously done the tour and talked to them ahead of time, and everyone knows the history of the Opry and stuff, and knowing that going in, I was like, more so than I think, obviously I care about the performance. Obviously I hope I hit all the right notes and don't hit a bad guitar thing or whatever, but I remember for sure right before we went out just being like every 20 seconds, 30 seconds, look to a different part of the room and like memorize it, if that makes sense. And granted, I don't sing every word like James does. I don't play
But
guitar.
You're taking it all in.
Or I don't play drum stuff.
Appreciate it.
But I can like vividly, I can absolutely remember where my parents sat. I can remember the people like second row on the left and stuff. And it was one of those things where it's like, once you're in the gravity and the weight and just like the history of what it is, standing on the stage, you were just like, it was a whole nother world because you were like, I'm at the place that I have dreamed of being my entire life.
The amount of people that just played on that stage.
Oh, insane.
And for me, just like I got into guitar and music because of my dad. And like he flew in for that show too. So like that was like the coolest moment ever, was my dad seeing like, I don't know, it must be cool for him buying like his son a guitar when he was 10. And then 22 years later he was playing like the Grand Ole Opry.
What was the moment like
crazy.
together when you guys stepped off stage? When you just
like Connor said, it goes by so quick.
Yeah.
That like you come out of it, because I was the same way. Like I kind of like blacked out too, and then like when we got off stage, like you kind of like you said, the tunnel vision comes back, and you're like, oh my god, like what just happened? And it's just one of those. It's so weird even talking about it, but like I'm like really different. Like when these guys know me really well, that like I get the most nervous playing, I guess, shows.
Yeah.
And when we did this is the one show I wasn't nervous about, and which is weird to say.
Why that made me nervous.
Which is maybe why it made you nervous, but why it was, because I remember I was talking to myself in my head, and I was like, you're on stage now with like the best musicians in the world. Like all behind us is the best musicians, easily hands down in the world. And I was like, even if you suck, they're gonna sound amazing.
Right.
And it's like there's nothing that I can do.
So you had like a little
I
safety
mean,
net.
I'm not singing like James in that and not playing the drums. I was like, I'm playing bass. And I was like, I could go up there and play the wrong song and no one would even care. And I was just like, yeah. and I still don't remember the moment, but I just remembered being like, no one even cares what you're doing up there, because it just nothing matters.
Care. I mean, but this seems like your aha moment. Like this feels
for
like the way you guys are looking at the photo too. Like it's something.
This
really
is the
special.
biggest moment of our
it's
career.
it's like it's one of those ones that you like remember forever. For sure it is, like without a doubt. The Grand Ole Opry is like the holy grail in country music,
it's
right?
exactly
It's
that.
the spot.
Yeah.
And it's been the spot for like decades.
Yeah.
And so to be able to go and do it is just
What was that conversation once you got off stage? What did you guys say to each other? Was there
Honestly,
anything? Did you guys?
They were filming
Quiet?
like a documentary behind the scenes kind of thing. So like as soon as we got off stage, it was like cameras in our face and like getting like shuffled to places, and then we went took a picture with the like signs and like went and talked to our parents briefly. And
that was the big one, is like getting to go see our parents and stuff and do that, because we're all just like, okay, we did it. we did it.
That's
and
what it felt like.
And it's so crazy because we play an hour and a half, 2 hour shows all the time, right? Which arguably are more difficult because you're working a little bit to get the audience into it sometimes, you know what I mean? Where this one, like, everyone's queued up to have a good time at the Grand Ole Opry. Like, they're excited to see you. So, theoretically, should have been a less stressful show, so much less music and all that. But I feel like there was when we came over, like, we did it.
Yeah.
Like, we
A
did
lot
the
of
thing.
it's just so much emotion. Even like talking about it there, like I was like trying not to get choked, and it's weird because we
Yeah,
never
it
do
gets
it.
you
It's,
choked
it's,
up.
it's a weird presence in that room. Even when we watch, like when you go do the tour, if you've never done the tour there, like I walked in and watched the tour, and you walk out so inspired for like
fired
music
up.
and
You could run
everything.
through a wall.
You could run through a wall,
Legit.
and like the best moment when we first showed up for all this thing, because it's the most JBB thing that could happen to us, is we showed up and they have like a parking space reserved for you, and we showed up to get to our opera spot, and someone parked in our parking spot, so we could, and it was like, and I was just like, it's going to be a good day because that's the most JBB thing. The fact that we could laugh it off, it was like that's the most JBB thing.
I've tried to think, too, about why the Opry is so special, and it feels almost like playing the Opry, after you do that, you're kind of like, this is going to sound weird, like immortalized.
In a way, yeah.
When you do those
Yeah, yeah.
things. You've gone through this like rite of passage that is there forever.
You've 100%.
Right?
You've reached the mountaintop of that thing.
There will always be people will talk about the Opry, and you'll always be able to say that you played the Grand Ole
Like,
Opry.
I think about it like, you know, years from now, the old ladies in Lindsay will be like, that's James Barker. He played, you know, like when people don't even know who we are anymore. They're like, oh, they played the
Keep
Grand Ole
going
Opry.
on the impression.
More impression.
In between bouts of them punching each other.
Yeah, exactly.
They go, oh, James Barker.
That's Rosemary over there.
Yeah.
No, but and it gets everyone because like I just saw that they announced like Ringo Starr. Like think about it, one of the Beatles is playing the
That's
Grand Ole
insane.
Opry
Yeah, I
for the
saw
first
that.
time, and one of my friends texted me like, "Damn, you played the Opry before one of the Beatles," and I was just
That's
like,
wild.
I mean, like when you put it that way, it's crazy, but like when you think about it, it's like I bet you there's not many shows that would probably get him like choked up.
Yeah.
I bet you that that's a show that he gets choked
But it
up.
makes a lot of
absolutely.
sense for, you know, when you guys were talking about the nerves and like blacking out, when you're putting it in that context of you're only going to play this for the first time once. And this is the
Yes.
biggest dream, like this is the biggest thing we
Yeah.
could achieve in it's kind of our art form.
Yeah.
The moments leading up to it must be almost overwhelming. So in order for you guys to be able to dial in and actually do what you had to do and pay attention to where you were and
I'm
actually enjoy
impressed
it.
you did
is-
that. That's pretty.
Yeah,
impressive.
it's
yeah.
amazing.
It's
For
awesome.
days leading up, you got my head into it. I just want to make one more point too, with regards to the Opry, is that they do, and I'm like, this is the dad in me and just like the parent side or whatever, but it's like, and going off of Bobby's emotion in the answer, because it's like, I'm just staring at this photo, which is wild. And obviously, we know we played it. We have all the photos and memories and videos and the parking sign that has your name on it, which is wild. Well, technically your name, but we're banned, so it's dope. But like just the thought process of like, you know, being an adult and like raising a kid or whatever, and you bought the first guitar, you took the first drum lesson, you bought the fiddle, you did whatever, and like you went to the terrible sing contest. You went to the terrible coffee houses. You sat through all the crazy stuff. It's just like, and I guess I never really like asked my parents what that, because you also celebrate after, and I went out for like a 3-hour dinner, which was insane and did all that type of stuff. But like to think of us down the road, maybe next generation or whatever, maybe we're grandparents down the road and have a kid, whether it's music, whether it's hockey, whatever, like reach the pinnacle, like that thing, like a Grammy or whatever as well, like, just watch them reach that must have been crazy, because like even when they came backstage, they made sure they knew where all their parents were ahead of time. So it's
they
like
did
as
a
soon
great
as you're done,
They do a really good job of
Yeah.
making and like your whole family's backstage. They do a really good job at the whole thing is just like a 10 out of 10 production. Like
Yeah.
backstage, on stage, leading up to it, everything.
and yeah, all that to say, like I'm gonna ask my parents one of these days, just be like what was that like? I know what it was like for me, and I know what it was like for us, and obviously what we did and stuff, but like what was that like for you to watch the kid that you literally like gave birth to and raised and disciplined 10 trillion times for being not listening or whatever? It's just like, what was that like for you to sit in the audience and be like, holy smokes, like that's wild.
Record it. Record it so we can see it.
Yeah.
In that moment, did you feel how proud your parents were of you?
I stared at mine
I feel
for
like
sure.
I feel like yes, that's funny because I hadn't really thought about it, but I feel like yes, seeing my parents backstage is like they're they're jazzed with it.
Yeah.
Cool.
You know what I mean? And there are like, it's weird being a musician because the things that you feel like make you the most proud generally aren't the things that make the people that you grew up with the most proud.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because you start to like, the mystique wears off of certain things because you're like, oh, this is an industry thing or whatever. But that was one where it felt like everybody, more than I thought it would. Like perceptually, I feel like in the music industry in Canada and perceptually like within my family and friends, I feel like that was one that's like, James did something.
Yeah.
You know, and when you see people, everybody was like, how was the Opry? It was like one of those things where it's like, that was a thing that everybody thought was special.
Well, there's not a general like understanding of the intricacies of your art form, of like the things that you guys like. To your point, you said I would be proud of this, I would be proud of that. So to reach that sort of that touchstone, that everybody gets is like, for them that must have been pretty wild.
Absolutely.
Call your parents after this.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm gonna watch this back and be like, "Damn, you almost cried, man." Damn.
We're so proud of you. That's the last photo.
Yeah, we're gonna.
That was a
move on
good
to-
photo to end on. By the way.
Yeah,
So
it's-
we
I love this.
I wish we ended on.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Can
The
you
way
imagine?
you
That was
guys
awesome.
picked it.
Man.
Okay, we got some really quick quiz questions, really fast.
Okay.
Just whatever comes to your mind. What will we find on your Explorer page?
On our Explorer page.
Like on like for you or your Explorer page when you're
yeah.
scrolling.
Oh,
What is
man.
the one thing you look at all the time?
right now, my phone is listening to pregnancy stuff 24/7. So it's just pregnancy
ready.
stuff.
It's all
Yeah.
It's honestly all
Trust.
Tim Robinson.
Tim Robinson.
It's Tim
Yeah,
Robinson.
it is a lot of Tim Robinson
I
stuff.
can't escape him. It's
Yeah,
it's
you
everywhere.
can't get away from that guy.
I feel like you're just here for the zip line.
Yeah, a lot of that. I feel like on our band one, it's like pretty much all that, and then I feel like, I mean, on my personal one, it's like nonstop, just guitar and car stuff, like Connor said.
Mine specifically dialed into like 1992 to 1998
got you figured
F-150s.
out.
Now the two-tone F-150s. It's
Nice.
all
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Nice.
Golf memes and French bulldogs.
Oh, yeah.
Bulldogs,
The-
yeah.
The band TikTok is all golf. That's all it is. It's
That's my
golf
bad.
videos.
That's my bad.
You guys play golf? I know you play hockey, right? But
Yeah. Golf, hockey, a
Yeah.
little bit of baseball.
Good baseball. Okay.
Basketball, no. Taylor
I
does,
can
but
play
that's like
Taylor's okay
he
at
always wants to
basketball.
play, but like it's no one wants to play
plays with
because
me.
yeah, it's too good.
Pickleball, guys. Pickleball.
Never
Yeah.
tried. I would
You
love
guys
to
have-
try
You
pickleball.
guys would be great. Favorite person to follow on social?
Louis, at the height of it, Louis Capaldi. His socials were
Yeah.
incredible.
He was a good follow. I mean,
He
he's
was
a good
great.
follow, but he definitely like goes
Good
through
hang.
ebbs and flows.
And sorry, Noah Khan as well. His like
Yeah.
his talking about his issues, just his openness to be talking about whatever like stuff. He was just super honest.
I
Nobody
think
was
that
though.
word is coming out in the interview.
Yeah, 100%.
Wow.
But he like he
cut
had
that in
that
post.
he had that Lewis thing where it's just like, hey, I
So
am a
brave to talk
completely
about his
normal
hemorrhoids.
dude
Yeah.
that is just living his life and loving it.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of like non-music people because there's definitely people that Scottish guy with the golf lessons.
Oh, the guy about he yells at you. Like
It's like, stop doing that. It's crazy.
I open it on the golf course whenever I'm playing bad, and I do like the yeah, and then it helps you like correct your like swing. But
That's a good follow.
We have that guy, and Theo Vaughn's great.
Yeah.
Larry the Enticer is a good follow.
Larry the
Enticer's
Enticer,
good.
yeah. And we just recently found out that Randy from the Trailer Park Boys is like a huge fan, and he followed us and he comments on all our stuff. So it's for us. That's like
That's
The guys
That's
from
the
2012 and 13, if they knew that Bo Bandy followed us,
cheeseburger locker.
Who have you? DMs. Have you slid into anyone's DMs?
like, not like that.
Not like
Well,
that.
I have
I'm
a-
saying like
yeah.
just in general.
I have a really bad one.
Oh,
For in like 2015 when we first had our first hit, I DM'd Drake being from the band account being like, "Hey dude, we're on the same label, we should collab sometime," and never got seen. And I look back at that tweet being like, "That is wild." That
Someone
you
was
thought
that misguided.
that was like you thought that was gonna work, and we had
your
launch
shot.
your lazy
Wild.
and just
For you.
shot the shot at Drake.
Do it again. See what happens.
Shoot your shot. Shoot your shot. That's a good one. It's going to be hard to top that.
Yeah.
I tagged Lewis and I checked for like 2 weeks and he never even opened it. And I was like,
First name
"That's fine.
basis."
That's okay. Or yeah, Lewis Capaldi.
Hell.
Okay. If you could do
One more.
Yeah.
Okay. What do you hate about social media?
Ooh.
That
Less
true.
of that.
Less of that.
I will
more
say
of that.
Yeah, probably honestly probably that all of your mistakes now live on the internet forever.
Yep.
Even if you delete them, they're out there
They're there
forever.
forever.
Yeah.
And keyboard warriors.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And all the
Yes.
all the AI bots lately
Yeah.
commenting on everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's not a mistake. That's like it's
It's
great.
part of your story,
It's
man.
part of your story. It's
Yeah.
part
It's
of
your
who you
journey.
are.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys are amazing. Congratulations on everything,
everything,
and we're
yeah.
so excited
so
for
much.
you.
Thank
and
you.
We want to hear more of those stories from the 2015. So come
No.
back
Yeah.
and
Thanks
let
for
us
hanging out,
know.
guys.
But
Yeah.
you guys are amazing, and that really resonates of who you guys are as a team and as a band. So
Love that.
thank you. Really
Thank you
appreciate
guys
it.
for having
Yeah,
us.
thank you. That was a blast. Thank you.
Good.
JBB.
Yeah,
Thanks,
you.
guys.
Healthy conversation.
Thanks, guys.